Hello, field study students. Job well done because you finished all the episode 10. Today, I will explain the full content of episode 11, which is delivering my lessons. This is Dr. Maria Sheila D. Flohimon. The following intended learning outcomes for this episode are you must have explained the importance of the lesson or learning plans. You must have executed lessons, lessons or demonstration lessons well. You must have applied all the given suggestions of your resource teacher. You must have demonstrated the ability to teach two or more lessons or subjects using appropriate teaching competences and multiple teaching strategies. You must have reflected on the instructional process to improve quality instruction, and you must have used professional reflection and learnings to improve your practice. Okay, so this is our slide 3, which is instructional delivery. So in delivering your instruction, the first and the very important thing for you to remember is to be able to know what's instructional delivery is all about. Okay, so instructional delivery is about your interaction among the students, the teacher, and the content for the students to learn a specific knowledge, skill, dispositions that they will need for further learning. So this is for collaborating with others in a diverse society and in a rapidly changing world. So how can we say that in today's society, we are changing rapidly? Why is it? May I share with you a study done by Erwin Rotas and Michael Kapahay. Their study is about difficulties in remote learning. Voices of Philippine University students in the wake of COVID-19 crisis. Why did I pick up this certain study? Because one thing that had um, um, changed our educational system, one thing that had rapidly not changing our educational system is because of what happened in the 2 years ago. That was about COVID, and we had this um, crisis in the whole world in which we were able to stop in going to school. In their study, it says that most educational systems across the world have migrated to remote learning modality as a measure against the spread of the coronavirus disease or the COVID-19. This phenomenon is causing a lot of difficulties, especially as voiced out by students in the context of developing countries. The result of the content analysis revealed the following categories of difficulty in remote learning. It's unstable internet connectivity, inadequate learning resources, electric power interruptions, vague learning contents, overloaded lesson activities, limited teacher scaffolds, poor peer communication, conflict with home responsibilities, poor learning environment, financial related problems, physical health compromises, and mental health struggles. Those are the things that had experienced by students during those changing times and because of the COVID-19 crisis. That is why there is this many ways of delivering the instruction of your teacher. Okay. So, how do you process instructional deliveries? How do you process instructional deliveries? Okay. It is when you are applying a repertoire of education or instructional strategies to communicate and interact with students around academic content to support student engagement according to Council of Chief State School Officers 2013. Meaning that instructional delivery is a method used in delivering the lesson, strategies, approaches, and techniques which is being used by a teacher who will employ these things in the delivery of his or her subject matter to the learners. This is the opportunity of the teacher in determining whether the aim of the lesson is achieved or not achieved. Okay, so that is how you are going to process your instructional delivery. Next, what to consider in the mode of delivery. Okay, so what are you going to consider? You are going to consider most importantly when designing learning activities is that it will support your students to develop their skills, their knowledge, and their understandings, which is required to achieve the intended learning outcomes which will be assessed. The delivery of instruction must also be responsive and relevant to the needs of the times. So meaning, it is important to consider the mode of delivery because it is very important for you to consider, no, the in during the designing of your learning activities. Okay, so meaning that there is on campus or the face-to-face, online, and situated, no, these things are very it is a must need to be different and should be designed separately. So meaning because of this three, no, very important thing, no, in the learning modalities, which is on campus, online, and situated, you have to make sure that you have to design separately. Why? Because the three learning modalities are different from each other. So you have to also think of different ways in designing your lesson. Most especially the strategy that you are going to make use in your preparation or in the preparation of your lesson. Because on campus or face-to-face is a teaching learning, no, that happens when all students are in the same physical space. Meaning that when both the teacher and the students are all in the same physical space. While online is when the teaching learning activities are being managed in an online environment. So, and at the same, and the third is situated when field work or practicums are being done. So meaning because of these three learning modalities, you have also to make sure that the design of the three kinds are done separately. It should be differently. All the activities, no, are done differently. Okay. Now, there are different kinds of learning delivery modalities. First is what we call the distance learning. it is all of this, the learning modality are in the DepEd order number 11 series of number 011 series of 2020. Okay. So, what is distance learning? Distance learning are learners which are in a geographically remote area. They are called geographically remote learners. Why? Because learners are far away from cities and places where most people live, and therefore it is very difficult for the teacher or for the students to attend the face-to-face. So that is why it is called distance learner. Modular distance, meaning they are given as self-learning modules. So these self-learning modules can be printed, or it can be also in a digital form or in an electronic copy. What resources can be done, can be ready by the teacher? They can make use of the learner's materials, textbooks, activity sheets, study guides, and other student materials that can be used. Next is online distance learner, meaning that the teacher uses various technologies which can be accessed through internet. That is online distance learning. Okay, so this feature, the teacher facilitating learning and engaging learners' active participation using various technologies accessed through the internet. Okay. So next is homeschooling. Homeschooling is the alternative delivery mode. Next is the homeschooling or the alternative delivery mode. This one is a kind of learning delivery modalities wherein it aims to provide learners with equal access to basic education through a home-based environment to be facilitated by qualified parents, guardians, or tutors who have undergone relative training. So this kind of modality is only approved by some schools who are having homeschooling, and that there should have a facilitator at school, because there is a parent who are guiding their children, or there are guardians or tutors that can assist during students classes. Now that is homeschooling. Next is blended learning. Blended learning is a combination of face-to-face and online distance learning. So this one also is very interesting because this learning modality allowed the students to attend a combination of face-to-face and at the same time online distance learning, or they can also make use of the MDL. The ODL is the face-to-face and the online distance learning, while the MDL is the face-to-face and at the same time modular distance learning, or the RBI, which is face-to-face or the TV or radio-based education. So it's a combination of face-to-face and at the same time a TV or radio-based instruction. So those are, although those things are what we call blended learning. So that is what I am using now. Okay. Then next is the traditional face-to-face, wherein students and teacher are both physically present in the classroom. They are interacting with each other. They have the activity, have the opportunity to to have an active engagement. Teachers can give immediate feedback, and at the same time they can also give social emotional, it can also help the learners in terms of social emotional development. Okay. And the last is the alternative delivery mode, which offers solutions that may help learners outside of the regular school system acquire the needed basic education competences and life skills. That is the alternative delivery mode. So according to Semeo Enotech in the study, best practices of secondary level alternative delivery modes in the Southeast Asia, which is a case study of the Open High School program in the Philippines, it states that while enrollment in secondary schools have been increasing over the past decade, a significant number of young people are still not able to access quality and relevant secondary education. Some learners are experiencing difficulty in transitioning from primary to secondary level, and from secondary level to the labor market. In some parts of Southeast Asia, there is disparity in terms of completion of secondary education between rural and urban learners, and between the working students and those studying full-time. Learners from the marginalized group are like young people with special needs, and those from low socioeconomic groups face difficulty in accessing and completing secondary education. So there are many barriers that can push learners out of the formal school system, including the geographical distance, poverty, conflict, natural disasters, and many others. So alternative delivery modes offer solutions that may help learners outside of the regular school system, which acquires the needed basic education competences and life skills. Okay, so this is the model of instructional. Okay, this this is a Gagne's model of instructional design. So these things are very important in making a lesson plan. You have to take note of the following, which are: first is the gain attention, that students also gain attention, wherein, and at the same time, they describe the goal. No, in this 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4 is present the material, and number 3 is activate prior knowledge. So on the gain attention and present the material, students focuses their attention. So what you can do is that you give icebreakers, you give also videos, case studies, or news and events. While in the describe the goal and activate prior knowledge, the learners uh, you tell learners what they will be able to accomplish. So meaning you inform the learners of what are the objectives are you going to be done in your lesson for that certain day. Next is the fifth, it provide learners guidance, and sixth is it elicit performance. So because these are the two things that um are in the event of the instruction, so you can make use of the variety of methods to deliver the content, like what, like lecture, video, text, and activities. Another thing is that you can give content current lesson to prior learning, which is you established relevance, build memory and schemas. Then eight is eight is assess performance. Seven is provide feedback. And third model is retention and transfer. So meaning the three things can be, you have, because of these three things, you have to provide instructions on how to learn. So meaning you give guided inquiry, and you have to, as a teacher, you have to give also rubrics, and um, you can have opportunities for practice. You apply knowledge and skills being learned by your students. Okay, so this is the model of instructional design. So these are the things you have to fully understand for you to be able to create the segments of learning wherein in your um, manual of your field study 2, you have to complete the given matrix using by Gagne's 9 events of instructions. So once a lesson is assigned to you consult your resource teacher if your plans are ready for implementation or your assistance is needed in any part of the lesson. So you just have to take note of the following model of instructional design. Okay, so thank you very much. God bless and good luck to this episode. May you can be able to finish all of the 11 episodes, or all of the 11 episodes. Good luck and see you on the episode 12.